Hey, what's up guys? And first of all, if you would like to support me and the channel, my PayPal will be in the description, so thank you very much. I made a promise that I was going to be doing this series, so yeah, here it is for you guys to enjoy. Part 1 of What If Naruto Was the Sentry, guys. If you would like to see part 2 of this, just go ahead and comment down below and tell me you want part 2 and I'll be posting it as soon as possible for each and every one of you to enjoy. And also guys, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, yes, I indeed have 3 more channels that I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. Anime King 2, Anime King 3, and Anime Symbol, guys. I'll be leaving the links down in the description, so go ahead. And if you want your What If to be done by me, just go ahead and comment your ideas on any of the latest videos, including this one. So yeah, without further ado or wasting more time, let us begin this now, guys. He was tired. He was tired of it all. The world was a wicked place. The world was a cruel place. The world was an awful place through and through, and nothing could tell him otherwise. It was imperative that you understand. This all came from a child, an 8-year-old child. Now that should be an example of his mindset. But even then, things weren't as black and white as you thought they were. Konoha, better yet, the land of fire. Everyone believed that it was this prosperous, wonderful place. Believing that Konoha reigned supreme, due to them always being number 1. However, there was no place in this world that was all good. You had the poor part of Konoha. You had the part of the village where people struggled to eat, where people roamed the street, where there was awful individuals, truly horrendous people that would do whatever it takes for their own survival, even if it meant harming others in the most vicious way possible. It wasn't safe. And despite the preaching and the leadership from the man known as Hiruzen Sarutobi, the leader of his people, he was one man. And he might be powerful, but he was not a god. He was not able to see everything. He did not have clairvoyance all over the village. He was a man, flesh and blood. And there were circumstances that were forcing him to step away from the public. One of these circumstances was actually a former teammate of his, a man known as Danzo Shamura. You see, Danzo was obsessed about gaining the power to rule the village. And Danzo had been slowly breaking Hiruzen down over time. One boy was going to give him the supreme control that he needed. A young boy known as Naruto Uzumaki had a huge secret. A secret that he did not even know. You see, he contained a beast so ferocious, so village-ending that people fear him from just looks alone. That beast had enough power to eviscerate Konoha in minutes. It had enough power to bomb the land of fire. It was a walk-in natural disaster, the antithesis of death itself. Danzo leaked that secret. Despite Hiruzen wanting to remain private, he leaked the secret. He wanted the population to see that the Hokage, the strong, powerful one, was turning his back on the innocent people for the monster child. Two things this will accomplish. It will force Hiruzen to, well, face the backlash. For the people to see that his priority doesn't seem to govern the entire village anymore, but just one child who almost ended their existence. Secondly, it would isolate the boy, because Danzo Shimura knew if he got control, if he was able to truly train that boy under his possession, this village, this world will bow down to him. With the power of the Nine Tails at his disposal, the entire world will be his. And he will stop at nothing, absolutely nothing to achieve that. In desperation, people do what is always the worst things. And the villagers, they became cruel. They weren't just cold, they became wicked. Danzo Shimura has been creating incidents, allowing Hiruzen Sarutobi to be swamped, constantly filled with nothing but work for his position as a leader, even going as far as to affect outside jobs, even going as far as to affect inside stability. While that was going on, Danzo started to make it seem like Naruto Uzumaki was losing his mind. Little by little, Danzo started to increase the pressure. A rumor there, a manipulation there, a planted spy there. The people started to see Naruto as a monster that he was. The first incident came when he was 7 years old. They attacked him. Some drunken villagers attacked him. He spoke to the Hokage about this, but so far there has been nothing. And throughout that year, he's been attacked more than once. It's always random, out of the blue, as he walks during the nights. He tends to stay in his home most times now, afraid to go outside, angry at the world, angry at them all. As the villagers weren't just cold, they were cruel. The third tried to help. However, Naruto started to be seen as unstable. The academy teachers started to say that he was wild, angry, known for random outbursts of rage, even going as far as to attack the other students. But they started it, and just because there was a lot of them, and their words were against his, it seems like he was a bad guy. Aruka, a man that was there, he saw the pain that the child was going through, but Aruka wasn't able to reach Naruto. He had no friends. Naruto stopped going by the ramen shop, as he heard people saying that those people were defending the child. And those two wonderful people, Toki and Ayam, Naruto did not want to bring them any problem. So there was no light in his life. Naruto started to wander further and further away within the woods of Konoha, keeping away from the civilization of the people, moving from the streets, further and further away. However, on his 8th birthday, he was home. When his door was burst open, they swarmed inside. He was attacked. He was thrown against the wall. He was beaten. They shouted all kinds of things. "This is for my mother. This is for my sister." They hit him with pipes. The people came in like a wild animal and they beat him. They want him to suffer the same pain. They want him to be afraid because they knew that he was planning on attacking them once again. He was a monster. Danzo Shimura has been kicking things up even more, because this was the year was when he was going to finally introduce himself to Naruto. This was the year when he was going to make a connection with the boy, being the only light in his life, thus gaining a complete set of loyalty that will not be broken. Naruto managed to escape despite the pain. He ran. Due to his small stature, he crawled through fences, run through holes. He had no idea where he was going. He just ran and ran. Even when his legs burn, even when they scream out to him to stop, he just ran. As he was covered in bruises and cuts, he knew the Hokage could not do anything about this. He wasn't able to do anything about the last incidents over and over again. He was sick of it. He was tired. Naruto ran until something happened. As he stepped on something, the metal seemed to have corroded over time. The area seemed to give way underneath him. Perhaps it was some intervene of luck or destiny. Naruto fell. However, he blacked out. Lucky for him though, he woke up a few minutes later, having bumped his head. Enough time had passed for him to fully heal up. The marks, they were gone. However, he started to cry. He never understood why. What did he do to these people? Not even the Hokage seemed to know, and how could he not? He was a leader of the village. Naruto sat there on the ground and cried, tears running down his cheek. Not knowing what to do anymore. Things had never been this bad. They've never broken inside of his home. He just sat there and curled up in a ball as he cried on the ground. How much time has he done this? How much time has he come to tears? But did it matter? No, it really did not. Because even when he cried, no one truly hear him, does they? No one truly understand him. They all hate him for reasons that he did not know. Naruto got up and dusted himself off. As he looked up, the path was much too tall for him to jump out. He decided to walk. As he ventured inside, Naruto wasn't aware that this was once a very promising lab of a very psychotic man. Orochimaru, a man that had to flee the village due to his activities, gruesome, diabolical activities. Naruto ventured deep as he started to see tubes, massive tubes with nothing inside but moss. As the place was being overgrown, the plants breaking through the ground, seeping through the cracks, the place was falling apart. Naruto stepped as he heard something. This place has been abandoned for a very long time. He looked around. What was that noise? He snapped his head up as he saw the place coming down as he jumped. Everything came crashing down. The crash, it broke something up above, causing something to fall down. A very secured box. Naruto lay there. Why did it seem like everything was out to get him? Sometimes he wondered what was the point. He has no mother, no father. He has no one in his life to be there for him. Why does he keep on trying? He would never be accepted. He would never be someone that people cares about. His attention was drawn as he saw something shining at the corner of his eyes. Naruto saw the container. There were at least 25 slots in it. All of them were empty except for one. He picked the box up and blew on it, blowing away the dirt. Subject 0, Kame no Gushi, otherwise known as the sacrifice of God. Naruto read what was underneath. Do not inject. Immune system collapse in minutes. Fail in all humans and shinobi hosts. Too much power. Require non-human anchor. Naruto was confused as he noticed a piece of paper on the ground with some scribbles on it. This was on top of the box. He picked it up to read exactly what it was. The Sentry serum. Naruto had no idea what that meant. A recreation of a legendary ancient serum. Most of the writing was gone. Most of the scribbles seemed to have been done out of frustration. Naruto had no idea what it was, as the paper was pieces and pieces all over. However, he did make out a few words. Godlike strength, immortality, dominance, power. Naruto was confused. However, there were some bad words there as well. You see, this serum was created by Orochimaru for one purpose. Orochimaru had attempted to make the ultimate being, a being capable of godlike strength, immortality, complete chakra dominance. The idea was to combine the DNA of powerful bloodlines, but not just their bloodlines, the attribute of how the true connection of the gene of the bloodline worked, and instill them into a serum and inject it into the subject. However, despite his numerous tries and multiple of corpses that were piled up afterwards, Orochimaru failed in every single turn. He had stopped his research on this because it failed. It was simply not possible. Naruto saw the warning that was there, but he doesn't really care. Perhaps it would work on him, or perhaps he would die. As that came to his mind, he truly wondered what he had to live for. Maybe if he did not make it, he would be brought to a better place, where people actually love him, where people actually care about him, where he actually have people within his life that would care if he wake up the next morning. Because in this life, he didn't really have any. He popped the top off. He got nothing. There was no smell. As Naruto looked at it for a long minute, without hesitation, he downed it. Nothing happened. He got up and braced himself, but nothing happened. It seems like he was fine. What a waste, Naruto said, throwing the container down, when suddenly he gripped his chest. Pain. Naruto released a primal scream as he released so much agony that he ripped his shirt open. A strange pattern. It was like lightning running into his skin, but it was gold, spreading all over his body. You see, this serum has killed over hundreds of people, and it would have killed anyone else. But there was one difference between those people, one difference that Orochimaru missed, and the only Jinchūriki that could actually pull this off was the greatest out of them all at the moment. The one dubbed himself as the most powerful. Within the depths of Naruto mindscape, the nine-tailed fox saw something. It was like a virus, spreading through the boy's mind, spreading through his entire soul. You see, the serum was designed to destroy the user on a molecular level and rebuild them from the bottom up, making them into something special. But Orochimaru was missing one true attribute of this, and that attribute was inside of Naruto. The problem, though, this was a one-way trip, and it could only be done once. He released a mighty roar, releasing his power through the gaps. However, the Sentry serum did not overtake, but instead lashed onto it. The fox was confused. The fox's immense life force, spiritual power, regenerative chakra, it acted as a stabilizer. It was the perfect anchor, the perfect stabilism in the serum. Before the nine-tailed knew it, all of that power rushed to him, and due to his connection to Naruto, not even the mighty seal could hold it back. A seal as powerful as a Death Reaper's seal, it started to crack. Immediately, two people emerged. Triggered by the seal destruction, Minato and Kushina. They looked at one another, but before they could say a word, the nine-tailed erupted, and Naruto insights erupted with that golden light. In the outside world, Naruto's eyes snapped open as they became gold like the sun itself. He screamed as a wave generated out of him ripped the entire place apart. It all came crashing down on him as the place crashed down into a cave-in and proceeded to crush the young boy. It crushed him completely. Underneath that rubble and dust, within Naruto mindscape, The Ninetales was gone. Location currently unknown. However, in the depths of his mind, while the serum brought him light, it also awakened the dark as something fester within the depths of Naruto's mind, gaining strength as he gained strength. Time skip. It was a week before anyone truly realized. But the one that truly realized was Haruka. He seen Naruto, he heard what the other teachers say about him. But despite the fact that Haruka lost his parents during the Nine-Tail attack, he saw Naruto as a child, as he once saw the boy seated by himself when the class was over. He asked him if he wasn't going to get home, and Naruto told him that there was no one there to greet him, so what's the point in hurrying? And he walked away into the woods. Haruka had felt bad, but he did not find himself doing anything about it, which made things worse. Naruto did not deserve the hate. He was a child. He did not deserve to go through this. Naruto had skipped school on numerous occasions. However, when 3 days passed and then 4, and then it turned into a week, he made his way to the office. Hiruzen greeted the man with pleasantries. He was one of their, quality teachers. "Sir, I'm here about Naruto Uzumaki." Hiruzen sighed. "What has he done now?" he said. "No, he hasn't done anything. I haven't seen him in a week." Hiruzen blinked, knowing that Naruto was prone to skipping school, but a week? He had to find out what the hell was going on. Time skip. They were now on high alert. His envoys reporting back into him on a time frame of up to 30 minutes. The village. Naruto was nowhere to be seen within the village. His home was empty. Everything within his fridge was spoiled due to the kind of things that were in there, mostly, milk and things that were open. Naruto hasn't been home. They could see that very clearly. He wasn't here. Hiruzen immediately feared the worst. He knew about the attacks. He's been trying to find out who has been organizing these. But Naruto did not see a clear face. And lately everything was just getting on him. He's tried to do his best when it comes to Naruto. However, whenever he places envoys on standby, Naruto seemed perfectly fine weeks and even months. And then after he claimed that he was attacked, Hiruzen believed that someone was trying to play him here. And it was not Naruto. But who would have enough power, have enough foresight to know something like that? There was a couple of people, but why? Why are they going after Naruto? And everything that was on his case recently. He's been neglectful of his duties as the Hokage to take care of each and every child that was in this village. Naruto was one of those childs, and he was not a normal child as well. Hiruzen started to worry, believing that something bad had happened to Naruto in different ways, or that he ran away. He had to be found immediately. They found him. Hearing that brought a heavy sigh of relief. The Hokage was notified that they found Naruto crushed under a collapsing mine. At first that is what they believed, but it seemed to be an underground passageway, judging by the tubes. Hiruzen already know who was behind this, but why was Naruto down there? And he need to know if this was done man-made, or if this was because of the testimony of time, and everything simply collapsed because of Naruto's presence down there. Getting to the hospital immediately. Naruto was immediately taken to the infirmary. He's been down there for a while, judging by his clothing. He was in a horrible state, dehydrated, everything they believe. Hiruzen Sarutobi made his way off to the hospital to ensure that Naruto was going to be okay. This was bad. The fact that he was still with them. If he was indeed down there under those rubble for weeks now, he must have multiple broken bones. Hiruzen was stopped immediately by one of the nurses. as there was a doctor that wished to speak to him immediately. He made his way. After arriving, he entered the room to see the man. As he saw Naruto on the bed, Hiruzen was taken aback at first. Naruto seemed more bigger, taller, not by a drastic amount. But he could not recall him looking that much different in the last interaction they had, and it hasn't been that long. However, the doctor who was called in was not your ordinary doctor because they could not get the needle in. At first they thought he might be dehydrated, that he was low on supplements. After all, if he's been under there for a week, he should be dead. But no. But the problem was, the man turned to face Hiruzen and show him their predicament. As he tried to inject the needle within Naruto's skin, it wasn't going in. At first, Hiruzen thought that the man was not applying enough pressure. But when he did apply a lot of pressure, the needle snapped, startling both men. They looked at each other like to say, "What the hell?" Time skip. Naruto finally started to wake up. After a week and 2 days, he was waking up in the hospital. The only thing attached to him was a heart monitor to see if his heartbeat was regular or irregular. The doctors could not explain it. Not a single soul could understand how he was okay. If he was truly out there for a week, something was going on. Even not counting the nine-tailed fox, that was a different matter completely. And the fact that they could not pierce his skin, no, that was more concerning and weird. Naruto opened his eyes, trying to recall what was going on, as the last memories that he had was agonizing pain, but now he felt amazing. Naruto bounced out of the bed. Underestimating his own strength, his head ripped through the ceiling. Naruto was confused as the dirt and dust came down on him. The sudden noise alerted the nurses, who arrived in the room to scream, seeing the headless boy floating there. But his head was there, but it was simply in the ceiling. Naruto ripped his head out, which caused that ceiling area to come crashing down on the bed. He came down and broke right through the bed, crashing through the floor, dropping on the next level. Naruto blinked in shock as everything went into chaos. They believed they were under attack, the nurses and doctors quickly piling out. Naruto looked around confused. "What the hell is going on?" he said. Seeing a woman running away, he raised his hand. "Wait, I don't mean to." Naruto stepped forward. He zooped, suddenly moving off at superhuman speed. He broke directly through the wall, and another before he finally came to a stop, taking very deep breaths. Terrified and confused, Naruto looked down as his hands started to glow with a yellow energy. Naruto placed his hands out away from him. Everyone within the village was alerted. The wall of the hospital exploded outwards. It was a good thing that he had came to this room, otherwise it would have been bad. A beam of light shoot into the sky, alerting every single one. Every Anvu, every ninja, everyone in the vicinity descended to fight for their home. Seeing the location was a hospital, believing that this was an attack to weaken them, to take out their nurses, to take out their healers. Naruto stood there looking at the gaping hole. Startling realization on his face that he did that. He looked at his hands that were glowing once again. He had to get out of here before he blew the entire place to pieces. He started to run. However, he stopped at the edge, realized that if he fall, he was going to die. He looked around. He had to get out of here. He had to get out of here. Naruto looked down when he realized his legs were no longer on the ground. Trying to get back down to the ground, he ended up zooping off. Naruto teared through the roof of a building, tearing through another one before. He was aiming directly towards the face of the first Hokage. No, 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 he said to himself. He pulled himself up and he did avoid it. However, he couldn't avoid the grassy field behind it as he crossed his arms in front of his face. Naruto ripped through the entire land, creating a massive trench. Naruto lay there on his back, remaining perfectly still, terrified of this newfound strength and power that was bursting all inside of him. Before he knew it, he was surrounded. There was an army, a large army of ninjas. They descended upon the area. Naruto got to his feet, his hands raised, showing that he meant no harm. What the hell is going on? Is this the power of the nine-tailed fox? It has to be. The boy has lost control. Naruto was confused because their mouths were not moving, but they were talking. He gripped his ears as everyone was talking at once. Hiruzen Sarutobi arrived, Dorn in his battle armor, ready to fight and die for his village. When he saw Naruto there, "Naruto?" he said. Naruto looked at the old man, still confused, as his hands were over his ears because everyone was just talking at once. As they wouldn't stop talking, Naruto screamed on top of his lungs. "Shut up," he said. Everyone gripped their ears, even the Hokage at the thunderous sound that came from Naruto's mouth. Hiruzen Sarutobi blinked in shock. All of the ninjas there, their mind quiet as they looked at the boy. Finally, they weren't talking anymore. Time skip. To show that he means no harm, Naruto turned himself in, allowing them to restrain him with a chakra dampener seals. To dampen his power, Naruto allowed them to apply it to his body so that he wouldn't harm anyone anymore, but in just a few minutes or seconds, Naruto started to understand what he was doing, start to understand the limits of his strength, which seemed to be limitless. He didn't know how his mind was working like this or processing information like this, but he knew it, and yet he didn't know how that was possible. Once everything was set up, they believed that he was fine. The sealing experts left the room. Naruto looked at the table, as he was the only one sitting there. The others were outside. They were behind a wall, but Naruto could hear them very clearly. He could hear them. He could hear their words, not just their minds. Naruto could see the movements of their mouth. On a molecular level, he wasn't exactly seeing through the wall, but he could see them. He could perceive them. He could understand them. He felt it as well. They were afraid. It was a Hokage. Naruto looked down towards a steel table that was standing there, looking towards the dampeners that was supposed to restrain his chakra. Naruto gripped both sides of the table. He ripped it in half, rather easily. Stunned and awed by his strength and power, Hiruzen entered the room. There was a few others there, but they didn't enter inside. Naruto then held the table as he placed the two pieces back together. He gazed at them with an interested look in his eyes. As he focused, golden energy started to surround him, immediately burning away the chakra papers on him, removing the seals instantly. Naruto could feel the broken molecules in the table. As he started to rearrange them, he had no idea how he knew this, but it was like putting a piece together like a puzzle. And once it was perfectly finished, the table was fixed, completely brand new. And that wasn't board or wood, it was steel. Once again awed by his power and strength, Naruto did not just glue it together. He recreated the object, molecular integrity, as if it was never even ripped apart in the first place. Amazing. Hiruzen thought. It is, isn't it? Said Naruto. It truly is amazing. The Hokage blinked. Can you hear what I'm thinking? Naruto did not answer right away though. Naruto, Hiruzen said in his mind, wondering if he was simply saying out loud what he was thinking. That wasn't possible, right? Only a Yamanaka could perform something like that. And they had to be at least making some contact with you. Yes, I can hear you. Hiruzen blinked in shock. How is that possible? I don't know, said Naruto, once again surprising the old man. Naruto looked back down towards the table as the Hokage stood there, being very careful to precisely block what he was thinking about. There were things that Naruto could not know. The problem was, thinking about not thinking about something was the same as thinking about it. What must I not know, said Naruto, as he got off the chair, stepping towards the old man. Naruto felt it once again, the sense of fear. Perhaps it was due to his acquiring new abilities. The man seemed... No, he did not seem, he felt afraid. When I was out there in the field, one of the persons, they said, the nine-tailed fox. What do I have to do with the nine-tailed fox, said Naruto. The thought did not came from Hiruzen but the people outside who can hear clearly what was being said. Naruto blinked in shock. The nine tails is sealed inside of me? He said, looking towards the window. You, said Naruto as he stepped forward. He pressed his finger on it and the glass, the very powerful glass, shattered like that. Standing there was Hayashi Hyuga and Ibiki Marino. Both men were shocked, as this boy had laid his finger on it, barely applying some force, and it shattered. What in the world was going on? And how did he knew? How did he know? Hiruzen cursed in his mind. Their information was being leaked. Naruto was literally taking it away from them. He's going to know about his parents. He tried his best, his hardest, to not think about Minato. But Naruto put it together. Thinking about something, especially when said thought just appear in your mind, was not something that they were used to just blocking out. After all, they had the mind experts within the village, so it was not something that they fear. Torturing someone to get information was different than simply reading the information through their mind, as they did not possess the ability to block him out, having no idea how he was doing this and was new to it as well. Naruto was stunned, knowing that name. That was the name of the fourth Kage. The fourth Kage is my father? Naruto said with a shocked look. Ibiki was shocked to hear what he just heard. So was Hayashi. The information about Naruto's parents were kept to a very, very small circle. So people like these did not know. Because, well, they weren't meant to know. As it was much kept than the nine-tailed secret. Much more kept than that. Naruto looked down, feeling distraught. All of the things that he went through. All of the pain and suffering. And the fourth Kage was his father. The fourth Kage, the man that risked his life. So all of that was a lie. So it was nothing but lies then, said Naruto. The fourth Kage did not kill the fox. He sealed it in me. He sealed it in his son. Why? 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 Naruto said, the ground cracking as he stepped forward, golden energy exploding around him. Calm down, Hiruzen said. I'll explain everything to you, but you need to calm down immediately. Naruto clenched his fist in anger. As both men behind him were ready to subdue him, Hayashi, activating his eyes, Naruto snapped his gaze towards the man. Hayashi found himself backing off, to be afraid of a child nonetheless. Now that confused him, but those golden eyes looking at him. It was almost like the child sensed the moment he moved. Naruto turned to face Hiruzen. Tell me everything. And leave nothing out. I'll know otherwise. The situation was delicate. Naruto was currently on the premise of a power that was greater than everything that this man has ever seen before. Strength to rip through a building, tear a trench through the ground, casually rip a steel chair in half like it was nothing, and somehow bend it back together without any structural damage. Seeing through glass, tapping a rather reinforced glass with a finger and shattering it. And they believed that this was just the beginning, so as Hiruzen told Naruto about his past, the reason why the information was kept away from him, the reason why they did it, to keep him safe. The more he spoke, the angrier Naruto got. Once he was finished, the envoys had arrived. Hiruzen had gave a signal to Ibiki to gather more members just in case. He did not want it to go this way, but Naruto was currently unstable, and the Hokage had his doubts. That was how scary Naruto was. The Hokage, the leader of this village, had his doubts. No, that was unusual. Extremely so. Naruto, Hiruzen said. I know you're not lying, said Naruto. You told me the truth. Naruto proceeded to gaze towards the wall, unsure how to think about this. He was mad. He's been mad his entire life. However, he was thinking about his next actions when a voice whispered within the depths of his mind, kill them all. However, Naruto pushed that away immediately. Knowing that, he had the power to do something like that, but he didn't want to. Naruto was never a bad person. He was never a bad person. He was never an evil person. He never tried to do bad things. Throughout everything, all he wanted was just to be left alone, treated like a normal human being and not a monster. He had the power now to gain revenge. He had the power to do so much more. Naruto looked down towards his hands. He felt it. He did not know how, but he felt it. The next moment he was gone, shocking them by his sudden disappearance. He reappeared though. As he looked at Hiruzen, who turned around to see Naruto behind him. I can teleport, Naruto said. I'm going home. I don't know what is happening to me. But unlike you, I won't lie, said Naruto. But I don't want to deal with any of this now. I have control. It's not like before, Naruto said. His hands started to glow as he pointed towards the table. He blasted the table to pieces. Before he stepped forward, they watched as Naruto pulled the molecules together. As the table was brought back to a perfect structure, just like that. He lifted it with a single finger. As you can see, I'm in perfect control. But I don't want to talk about any of this now. I have things to sort out. About my own life, finding out that my father was a fourth Kage. And I do not want to be disturbed, Naruto said. And don't worry, I'm not gonna harm anyone. Unless they try to harm me first. Then I cannot be responsible for my own actions. Because unlike before, I can fight back now. He teleported away. He was done. There were several factors why Hiruzen did not try to restrain Naruto immediately. Hiruzen did not have a good relationship with Naruto, and that was a given from Naruto's reaction to him right now. He is constant time-consuming things. He was neglectful to Naruto issues, not even finding the ones that attacked Naruto. Secondly, the seals. Those were some of the most powerful chakra seals that they had. They placed the strongest on Naruto because he had the nine-tailed fox, and it was supposed to cut off the source, but it failed. He could teleport. Now that was a shockingest realization. He teleported out of here. And he was nowhere in the building. So he could teleport from here to his home. That meant he could simply teleport outside of Konoha. This was bad. This was more worse than he thought. Hiruzen believed that Naruto was a gentle child, but this village forced him to grow up so quickly and in such a bad environment. His mind was used to hatred and darkness, and those things might consume him. And with his power now, the Hokage quickly moved as he had to make sure that everything was properly handled, to make sure that the village was safe, because he could not put Naruto's life over everyone in this village. And given the way that Naruto was acting now, the Hokage himself was afraid. With his newfound power, they need to know everything. One of his envoys landed. The elders. They wanted to know what the hell was going on. He released a heavy sigh. So much in such a short amount of time. Time skip. Naruto arrived home. The first thing he did was head to the fridge. Strange, he doesn't feel hungry at all. Naruto pulled out the spoiled milk. He was about to throw it away until something came to mind. He wondered. You see, spoiled food is molecular decay. Yes, mold growth, including toxins and new compounds. So if he were to... Naruto held his hand up. The golden energy. As Naruto was able to reverse the spoilage, he rewind the molecules, putting them back into their former state. Time reversal on the molecules, purifying the toxin out of it. The sludge that was once there turned back into fresh milk. As he downed it rather quickly, nothing changed. He didn't feel hungry, but he liked the taste. He did not feel thirsty either. However, his ramen was there. Naruto got a rather large pot as he placed all the ramen inside of it. If there was one thing that he despised, was the time it take to make the ramen, boil the water, and the time it take to prepare it. But that now lead him to another avenue. He could simply change the molecules in the noodles, making them freshly cooked. Naruto was laughing as a large pot of ramen was ready for him. He devoured it all. In times like these, ramen cleared his mind and kept him rather calm and happy. He burped as he lay down. He didn't feel much different, but the food was nice. But he didn't really care, as Naruto was pushing all of that anger in the back of his mind. He stepped forward. As he went through the window, he jumped to his roof, gazing towards the picture of the fourth Kage. That is when Naruto felt it, that strange sensation. Looking around, he then looked. Naruto closed his eyes. The next moment he was within his mindscape. Naruto saw the molecular particles, small dots and droplets of chakra, seeming to have been left behind after his transformation. He held both of his hands out. He started to put them together. Seeing some of them did not match, he split them and started to twist them in on themselves on their own. Naruto watched as the chakra formations turned into two. Two people stood in front of him. They were both holding their hands up, as the last thing they remember were the nine tails erupting and the power swallowing them. Kushina Uzumaki gazed around confused. When she looked down, Sashi? Her son. She stepped forward. Naruto? Is that you? Minato blinked. Mom? Naruto said. She was just how the old man described her. He ran forward. He lacked any sort of parentage in his life. As he hugged his mother, she knelt and hugged him in her arms. Minato, the more logical one between them, was confused. What the hell was going on? He didn't understand it. Naruto held his mother, happy as he was. She held on to him. He could feel the love and affection, but he could also feel that this was not his mother. This was just a part of her. However, Naruto could know and understand that she was just a print of her mind and her chakra. He immediately thought if he could bring her back, but he could not. Everything so far has been small, on a small scale. His powers seem to be growing constantly, gaining more friction, gaining more understanding as they grow. But this was just too complex. Perhaps in the future, but by then, their chakra would be gone. Could he perhaps store it inside of him somewhere? Break down their molecules in his? Another part of him wondered though. He should let them go. If they were already gone, his real parents were probably happy. In the pure world. Somewhere happy. Living with one another right now. They were already gone. It would be unfair to rip them away from that. He doesn't even know how to do it. What if he end up doing something horribly wrong? These powers that he has, they are truly amazing, but while he had a lot of it, he needed control. Better control. He broke away from his mother. "I'm so glad I get to meet you," said Naruto. Minato spoke as Naruto looked towards him. Minato could immediately see the look in Naruto's eyes. "I want to punch you right now, but I'm afraid I'll destroy you. I'm angry at you, but I still want to see you." "You're angry," said Minato, stepping forward. "Of course I am. The village has been nothing but horrible to me, and that's because of you. You sealed the Nine Tails inside of me and then you left. Both of you left," said Naruto. "I had no one and nothing. I'm a child. And they treat me like I'm a monster, like I'm some bacteria. And I never ever did anything to them. And now that I know everything about you too, how am I supposed to feel?" said Naruto. Minato stepped forward as he knelt. He pulled Naruto into a hug. Naruto tried to deny it. He could, but he was still a child. "I'm sorry." Those words struck Naruto deep. "I'm sorry that we weren't there for you." "I'm sorry," he said. Naruto started to cry. And for the first time, he actually felt like they were people that were actually concerned about his tears. Kushina started to cry as well as they consoled him and hugged him. They broke apart. His mother started to regale him of her past. How she felt being a Jinchūriki. Naruto chose to hide away some of the attacks away from them. Just saying that things were unpleasant. There's no need doing this to them. There's no need in giving the villagers the satisfaction of taking away his time from seeing his parents by talking about them. His parents were amazing. His father told him what happened on that night. The masked man. Naruto could see that they were leaving. Their essence leaving this world. And he was okay with that. As shocking as it was, he was okay with that. Because he finally got what he always wanted. Knowing that his parents loved him. That they cared for him. He hugged the both of them. And they hugged him until their chakra essence faded away. They left with a smile on their face. Naruto was happy. Happier than he's ever been. Overjoyed. Swallowed in happiness. Brimming with happiness. Deep within the shadows of his mind, the void, the creation of the power colliding together, started to step deeper within the recesses of his mind. Afraid of the joy and happiness that Naruto was feeling. Naruto also felt bad for the nine-tailed fox, the beast. The beast was responsible for what happened. Now that Naruto was here, Naruto could see what happened inside of his own mind. After all, his body was completely under his control. And not like other people say when their body was under their control, he has complete control over his form, 100%. Naruto reached out. Every single particle of the Nine Tails started to come together, started to twist together. Slowly, the fox was rebuilding right in front of Naruto. This was different from reconstructing a body outside. This was just like the table. Besides, all the power was already there. Naruto was simply putting it back together. He wasn't rebuilding it out of nothing at all. That was something that he can't do right now. Or maybe for years to come. He didn't know. However, as stated before, these powers are new. The Nine-Tail did not return as it once was. The fox was not taller than Naruto. In fact, it reached up to Naruto's waist. Its long flowing nine tails fluttering around. It looked up towards him. Its fur was now completely gold like the sun. The Nine Tails looked around, ready to attack the strange energy, but it looked at Naruto. What the hell is going on? Where am I? He said, confused. The mindscape was not the same after all. During the reconstruction of the fox, Naruto also changed it. It seems they were outside in a meadow, a beautiful meadow. I'm sorry, said Naruto. I'm sorry that we have used you for this long, thinking that you're just a mindless beast. The fox was just a prisoner as much as he was. He never asked for this. And while constructing the fox, Naruto learned that it wasn't just a beast of power, it was actually a living being, emotions and feelings. It made him believe that they were so wrong. Naruto stepped towards the fox, but the fox stepped away. It seems I'm not yet able to fully reconstruct you as you once were. But I will in time, said Naruto. And once I do, I'll set you free. As long as you promise not to return and destroy my village. I know that you're angry. I am too. I'm angry at all of them. But you've been locked away for more than 20 years. Bind and sealed away. And for that, I'm sorry, Naruto said, bowing his head. The Nine Tails looked at Naruto with pure suspicion, at the power that was resonating from this thing in front of him. Could you even call him a human anymore? The fox wondered to itself. It slowly ran off. It made its way into the woods to try to understand the dexterity of this place that was formed from this human. It seemed to not be in the mood to talk. The fox felt defenseless. Being so small reminded him of his younger days. And he did not trust Naruto despite his words. Trust was something that was hard to come by, especially for a tail beast given what he's been through. Especially the Nine Tails. When Naruto opened his eyes, he felt a lot better. He could also feel the Anvus that were watching him, but he did not concern himself with them though. A meeting. Hiruzen and Sarutobi kept the information on a need-to-know basis. However, they all wanted answers. The public was notified that there was an accident at the hospital. To keep most of this a secret away from them, he stepped inside of the room. All the clan heads were there. Hayashi Hyuga was already aware of most of this, but said nothing. Danzo Shimura was also there as well. Stepping inside, Hiruzen Sarutobi took his seat at the head of the table. Answers were needed. All of them wanted answers. Keeping this away from the populace here would be bad. He decided to inform them about Naruto, to inform them of the changes so they could help him keep Naruto stable, to keep him balanced and attached. However, in doing so, he had to tell them things to make them understand. Especially the fact that Naruto could read people's mind. They had to be careful there. But Hiruzen was not doing this for them, but he was doing this for Naruto. If they were to think something bad, he was afraid how Naruto might react. He was terrified right now. He had to make sure all of them understood. His situation went towards Danzo Shimura, who was currently going through a lot of crap in his head right now. All of his efforts turned into something completely unexpected. How strong exactly is he? Tatsumi Inuzaka questioned. From what they previously seen, they gave a fractured detail, as there was a testimony from all of those that were able to see a glimpse of Naruto simply shattering walls like it was nothing, breaking the interrogation window, a very steel reinforced window like it was nothing, teleporting away. They were stunned. Is this a Kage Genkai or something? Chose a question. However, he did not believe that it was. Asking Naruto questions right now might prove to be something horrendously bad. In doing so, Hiruzen had to tell them everything as well. They were shocked. Most did not know about Naruto's connection to the fourth Kage, so this came as a surprise. That child was the son of Minato and Kushina? Minato and Kushina being together was also a secret. Kushina herself was a secret due to her nine-tail connection. But you know how easy secrets are spilled in this world. But no one knew that Minato and Kushina got married except for a select few. It was a small ceremony with their close people nearby in order to legitimize the wedding. Yes, it was small. Back with Naruto, not feeling tired in the slightest. Talking to his mother and father helped a lot. It helped so much. Naruto wasn't ready to forgive and forget, of course not. But it at least take away a lot of his anger. Now, he wanted to find out the limits of these powers. How strong he truly was. Naruto started to levitate off the ground. He could really fly. Awesome, he said to himself. Naruto zooped into the sky. Looking down at Konoha as it looked so small. The Anvus that were watching him, startled by his sudden fly into the heavens. One immediately went to report back to the Hokage. Naruto looked around, seeing a small area a few miles ahead, deciding to test his powers there as he flew away from the village. In the depths of Naruto mindscape, the stronger Naruto was becoming, the stronger it became. The attachment, the hate itself, the void in his heart had gained sentience. And now it wanted to be alive. It wanted to be free. It wanted to do what Naruto did not have the guts to do. And unlike Naruto, it had no remorse. It had no empathy. It was the darkness itself. The void. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. I'll be posting it as soon as possible. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace, guys.